Hey guys, this is Nathan, and welcome back to Crash Landing. So, between episodes, I've been doing a lot of exploring. I found several more cities. You can see the waypoints for them if you look at the horizon here. And unfortunately, I have yet to find a single reactor building. So, to try to solve our energy problems, I went ahead and built a mob spawner underneath the center of the area here. And it's producing a good amount of drops. And wow, I even got a fire charge. I wonder where that came from. And I'm getting ender pearls. And this thing is running off of mob essence. We've got down here, we've got a reinforced portable tank. This has got 32 buckets of mob essence in it. And then we're running on a reactant dynamo that turns mob essence and gunpowder into energy. And this seems to be keeping up with the grinder. But I'd kind of like to move on to using the ender pearls for power. And right now this thing isn't producing enough, and I'm not sure that I'm going to keep it in this location. I've been using the conveyor belts from Mine Factory Reloaded for the main center here, and then alongside that we can see here, if I open this up, I was using, I think these are the open blocks conveyor belts, and mobs can spawn on those. The problem is, as you can hear here, there is a bat inside of that dark room. Now, whether that's because it's underground or just because it's a dark room, I don't know. But what I do know is that bat will get annoying, and multiple bats will spawn. The grinder will never kill them, and we'll just end up with a big mess of bats in here. And I don't really like that idea too much. But so one thing that I was kind of thinking about here, if we come up here real high, well, there's too many waypoints there in the same spot. So we'll just take a look at the waypoints here. So in one city here, we have an Enderman spawner that I found and surrounded with torches. So I'd kind of like to go and build a spawn chamber around that Enderman spawner and set up a grinder on it. And that would be able to give us a huge amount of ender pearls, and we can see the waypoint right here. It's only 553 blocks away from the base here. And I can very easily glide that. And if I set up another set of these elevator blocks at the other side, we can easily just move back and forth. We can get all the ender pearls we want just simply by AFKing for a little bit. But, there's another problem associated with that, and that is hostile mob spawns around that spawner. So to solve that, we are going to make a magnum torch. So in the city exploring, I was finally able to get some blaze rods, so I went ahead and made a brewing stand. And also, to make a magnum torch, we need potions of healing and regeneration. Now, regeneration is done with gas tears, which we get very heavily from sieving soul sand, and the potion of healing is made with a glistering melon. Now, I have not found any melon seeds in this game so far. Haven't found any in any cities. You can't get them from sieving. I honestly don't know if there's a way to get melon seeds, but I killed, I think it was a tainted Enderman. It was one of the Enderman special mobs, and it dropped a glistering melon. So I went ahead and took that and used it to make the healing potion that I needed, and I've got 2 more of them, so I can make a couple more of these. The trouble is, these take 5 chandeliers, and each one of those chandeliers takes a diamond, and I do not have a large number of diamonds. I don't even have enough diamonds to make another one of these. But we are going to go ahead and take these 5 chandeliers, and then we're going to place them into this crafting grid here, and we'll get our magnum torch. Now this thing stops mob spawns from natural spawn sources for, I think it's 64 blocks away from it. So if I were to drop this magnum torch right here in the center of this area, it will stop all hostile mob spawns for 64 blocks in that direction, and that direction, and that direction, and that direction. So that would stop all mob spawns around here. It does not, from what I understand, it does not stop the spawns of a mob spawner cage. So I think what we're going to try to do is go over to that city, drop this magnum torch and clear out the area around it, and then build ourselves a spawning room that we can set up a grinder on. So I'm going to go ahead and first off I'm going to get rid of this nighttime, and then I'm going to fly over to that city and I'm going to get going on that, get the spawning under control, and yeah, I'll be back in a little bit. So guys, I'm out here at this location, and I guess I should get my camel pack back on. And I didn't even realize how good of a spot this was going to be for this Enderman spawner. I had this one here and thought that was it. But I started clearing out down below, and there's another one right there. So we've got two spawners here in close proximity to each other, and I think that we can actually get this to where both of them will be active at the same time. So I'm going to work a little bit here on making sure that there are no spawners in the surrounding buildings, and I'm going to just completely tear this building down, and yeah, we'll see if we can actually get this thing to work. That will be great if we can, because that'll just make a huge amount of these ender pearls for us. And actually, I believe it was one of these red endermen that gave me the glistering melon in the first place, so that is just absolutely perfect. So I'm going to get all this cleaned up, and we will go from there. Well, the more that I clear this out, the more I can't believe my luck. So I've got that spawner there, and then one up on the top. So I have 3 spawners here in this one building for endermen. So I suppose if I set like the AFK location somewhere like right in here, I can run all 3 of those at once, put a grinder on each one, and we will just have ender pearls like none other. But yeah, this is giving me an awful lot of materials, so I am going to have to make quite a few trips back and forth to offload all this dust. And as you can see, there's a reason why this is referred to as the 10 Deep City. There's cities that are 4 deep, which is what the first one was that I found. They're buried 4 blocks into the dust. There are these 10 deep cities that are 10 blocks into the dust. And then, I don't know for sure, but there's supposed to be a walled city, and there's supposed to be a few others too, but seems like some of the city generation is a little bit screwy, and I know that the author of this mod pack has considered it finished, and so yeah, some of that stuff just will not be done anymore. But yeah, as you can see, my bag of holding is completely full. I've already picked up a couple ender pearls here. We got a couple of alumite parts, and then a whole lot of other stuff, so yeah, we're just about full here, and then I suppose I'll put these elevators up so that we can get back to the main base, and we'll just make a few trips back and forth real fast so that we can get some of this stuff taken care of. So I'm going to keep working on this, and I will see you guys after a little bit. So guys, as you can see, I have cleared out a very large area here. This building here, I suppose it was meant to be like a supermarket or something like that. This was an apartment building of some kind, and then this one was a factory building. Now, I found the 3 spawners that we had shown already, and as I was clearing out this apartment building, I found a 4th one. And I can have all 4 of these activated at the same time. Now the three here together are really producing a lot of stuff. I have already gotten 4 pieces of the glistering melons. Now these 2 Enderman heads, they came from me actually killing the Endermen that were falling from this spawner. But yeah, we have tons of Ender Pearls already. And we've gotten some of the glistering melons. We're getting spider eyes and fermented spider eyes, as well as sugar and redstone from some of these guys. Getting gunpowder from somewhere, and then we're getting the monster spawn eggs, and these are silverfish. So I don't know what we're going to do with those, but yeah, this is working really good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that keep running, and I'm going to clear out some more dust here. I probably will make another one of these rooms around this spawner, but I have run out of the fantasy bricks of what I've picked up in these buildings, so I do need to knock down a couple more buildings before I have the fantasy blocks for that. And I may do something similar on this one like I did on these two. I have them basically stacked, and the top one is dumping into the lower one, thereby using less grinders. I have 2 grinders set up here, and I could probably even set it up on just one, but I think the 2 grinders works just fine. And also, I think I may set up a small sorting system here, because we are getting a fairly varied amount of drops. I was just going to set up a barrel for the Ender Pearls, but I really need a chest for everything else. But I guess I will continue digging out this dust, and suppose once we get a decent amount of pearls here, we'll head back to the base and see about setting up some Ender Pearl power. So guys, I spent a bunch of time over at the new Enderman spawner AFKing and got 30 stacks of Ender Pearls. So we definitely have the Ender Pearls that we need to get a lot of power for over in our new ore processing dome. So the next thing that I would like to get going is a small applied Energistics system so that we can move all of this stuff out of here and we can handle the input from the new ore processing that we're going to be setting up over here. Now, to get into applied Energistics, we need tons of these logic expansion cards, and not just these 100s. We need the 300s as well, and the 300s take a bit more crafting to do. So for that, I went ahead and made several stacks of unassembled PCBs, and I was struggling like crazy to be able to generate enough compressed air with my 4 regular compressors to keep the pressure chamber up with making these. And I still have 9 stacks of capacitors and 9 stacks of transistors to make to complete these 3 stacks of unassembled PCBs. So I really think that it's time that we look into getting a different method of air generation. So over here I've got set up a little bit of stuff here. So first off, this is the recipe for making one of the PRC LX300 logic expansion cards. So this takes a 100 plus 3 flexed electrum ingots, 3 plastic sheets, and 2 more of the printed circuit boards. These flexed electrum ingots, are flexed electrum blend and pyrotheum blend in an induction smelter. The pyrotheum dust, I guess. The pyrotheum dust, we've already seen that one, so that's no big deal. And, oh, yeah, okay. And the flexed electrum blend, like I was saying, it's just electrum blend with some destabilized redstone on it, so this was no big deal to do any of this. So I got all of that taken care of. We're going to grab this LX300 card, and then we need this. So this is compressed iron, hardened glass, machine frame, reception coil, and the LX300, and that gives us a kinetic compressor. Now this will convert RF into, actually I think it converts Buildcraft power into compressed air, but we have RF. So what we're going to do here, we're going to set this compressor down here, and you can see it attaches into our piping system. Then we're going to take our resonant energy cell, and I don't think that this will hook directly to it, but we'll give it a shot here real quick. So we'll set this to output, and do we need a redstone signal to this? No. So yeah, what we're going to need to do here, we're going to need to put in a conduit. So we'll set this here. I guess we'll set the back to output. And then we'll go ahead and grab a hardened energy conduit. That's the last hardened energy conduit that I have. So now you can see this is making compressed air. So this thing will go all the way up to 20. So we have to be really careful on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this lever on here, and I'm going to set this configuration to where it only runs on low. So if I turn this on, we'll see the compressor will stop compressing air now. Now also, part of the reason that I had to do this, and it takes it a little bit to stop because there's energy stored in this conduit. Part of the reason that I definitely needed to make this was I made some speed upgrades for our UV light box. And this greatly increased the speed of making the PCBs, but 6 upgrades is already too much for the 4 regular compressors. And by the way, I have a factory manager set up here. All that I have to do is put my regular empty PCBs in here, and it will automatically send them through the light box and then put the ones that are ready to be etched back into this chest, and I can just come back and grab them at any time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to just grab a little bit of seeds here. I got a bunch ready to go. So I'm just going to grab a stack of lightning plant seeds, and then to make things easy, I'm just going to grab a stack of iron and a stack of redstone. And so we're going to make the compressed iron at the same time that we're going to make the green plastic, or not the green plastic, the lightning makes the turquoise, but we're going to make those all at the same time, and then we're going to make the, I think that I'm not sure what that even makes. But so what I've been doing, I just go Tor and then S. And that's enough to stop it from outputting anything. So we'll let this build up a little bit of pressure here. And usually I've found once it reaches about 4.5, we're okay to start inputting things. Now this may input energy a little bit faster. Here, let's turn off any ice so that we can see what's going on. So it doesn't look like we're going to have quite as much air backup, but this thing produces 64 milliliters per tick, and I'm not sure what these others produced. Let's just take a look here. We'll have to set one down to look at it. So these guys, do I have to put some fuel in it in order to even find out? Well, that's fine. We'll put in a piece of coal and just look here. So this guy produces 10 milliliters per tick. And so the 4 of them were only producing 40, and the one kinetic compressor is producing 64, and we could possibly set up a second one just to get more pressure here. So we're getting pretty close here. We're at 4, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, get some of these things going in there, and I should be ready to shut this off in an instant because this could definitely cause a problem. So we'll really, okay, so we are using the pressure. Ooh, we're going to overpressure our pipes, so we better shut that off. Yeah, we're up to 5 bar of pressure. So we're going to have to let that sit for just a little bit. This has to build pressure up to at least 4 bar to put in a stack of 64. So that kind of stinks. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and produce these 18 stacks of parts and get some things assembled, and we will look at getting our beginning AE system up and running. Well, I think we are ready to get going on this rabbit hole of crafting for applied energistics. So first off, we're going to take a look at our quest book here, and it has in the technological... Well, actually, let's check and see if we've got any others. Okay, we have not completed that one in basic survival. The under pressure, no. Salvage operation, no. So in this technological revolution, we have the basic AE quest. Now this wants us to make an ME chest and an ME 1K storage. And we'll go ahead and read this. Although a true AE system will take quite a few resources to set up, you can get the basic infrastructure set up fairly easily. A decent way to get organized fairly early, and when you do get an AE controller set up, the ME storage can easily be placed into an ME drive. So this will give us some nether quartz and Certus quartz, and that's, yeah. We've got tons and tons of both of those, so that's no big deal. So over here I've got set up everything that we're going to need. So first off, I've got these barrels with the PRC LX100 and 300 logic expansion cards. But the recipe for this LX300 expansion card is this. So we have the flux electrum ingots, some plastic sheets, the extra printed circuit boards, and the LX100. And you'll notice if you look at these, there's a difference in the texture on them, and the 300 even has more detail on it, so, or the 500 has even more detail, so that's kind of neat. But so then we need an ME basic processor, and that is the LX100 with redstone and silicon. The silicon is cooked Certus quartz dust. So we'll grab that. Then we have the Fluix dust. Now this stuff is used in a lot of recipes here in Applied Energistics. It's Certus quartz dust, redstone, and nether quartz dust. This is just nether quartz run through a pulverizer. We'll go ahead and grab one of those just because. So then we have the conversion matrix. Now this thing is used to convert our items to energy and energy back into items so that we can store it on our drive. So this takes a basic processor, Certus quartz, nether quartz, Fluix dust, and iron ingots. We'll go ahead and grab one of those. Then we have finally the ME chest. Now the ME chest uses one of these conversion matrices. Then it also uses a chest, 5 iron, and some glass. We'll go ahead and grab that. So then we have the storage cell. The storage cell takes some Certus quartz, a basic processor, redstone, and then that goes into the ME 1K storage, which is more glass, more redstone, more iron, and that storage cell, and we get the ME 1K storage. So that should take care of everything for this quest, and we'll go ahead and claim that reward. So now we have the AE controller. So, to get an AE storage system up, you'll need a few starting machines. So this wants us to make an ME controller and an ME drive. This is going to give us an advanced processor and then either a 4K storage or a 4K fluid storage. And I don't know, I think we're just going to go with the 4K storage on this. Because the fluid storage, I don't know that I'm going to store any fluids in my ME network, but that's besides the point. So to get started on these quests, first we need the Fluix crystals. Now this is Certus quartz crystals, nether quartz crystals, and redstone, and that will give us one Fluix crystal for each one. Then we have the ME advanced processor. Now this is why we needed that PRC LX300 logic expansion card. So we have fluxed electrum, silicon, and that expansion card, and that will give us the advanced processor. So for the ME controller, we need one advanced processor, Fluix crystals, and some more iron, and we get our ME controller. So The ME drive is very simple, just some basic processors, a chest, glass, and iron. So we'll grab that and take a look at our quest. So we just need to select our 4K storage and we will get those rewards. So that finishes out those quests. So now, going further, we have a few more things that are needed to make this system useful. So first off, we have the ME cables. These are used in crafting recipes and to connect ME items to the controller. And yeah, they're very important. So we'll grab those. Then we have the access terminal. This access terminal allows us to see what is on our storage drives. So this is pretty important. Just a conversion matrix, iron, a cable, and some glass. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Now we have the crafting terminal. Now this takes the ME access terminal. So this will allow us to craft directly in our ME system. The access terminal just allows us to put in and take out items. So we're going to go ahead and grab this crafting terminal. It's a storage cell, crafting table, iron, glass, and the access terminal. So that's good. Then we have the ME interface. So this thing allows the ME system to put items into machines, receive items automatically, whatever. But this takes a conversion matrix, a cable, some iron, and glass. So we'll go ahead and grab that. Next we have the ME storage bus. This thing will allow us to interface directly with, say, our barrel of leaves, or jungle leaves. And it will register all of the items in that barrel without having to put them into our drives. So we can do bulk storage in our expanded barrels without having to take up space in our drive. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. Pretty simple. Interface, iron, and a cable. So next we have a sticky piston, and I have not shown how I'm going to be making these yet. I have the Tinker's Construct balls of glue. Now these come from running a rubber log through a sawmill, and it gives a chance of giving this ball of glue, and they work in place of the slime balls for making sticky pistons and just about everything else. I think I can use these balls of glue any place that a slime ball is needed. But I'll go ahead and grab one of those. So next we have the ME Basic Export Bus. Now the Basic Export Bus will be useful for, say, putting items into a chest or into a barrel or running them directly into a machine. So this takes a cable, interface, iron, and a piston. So we'll grab that. Then we have the ME Basic Import Bus. This is the exact same recipe, just with a sticky piston, and this will pull items out of a chest or a machine. So with these items, we should be able to set up a basic ME system. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to our new ore processing dome and start setting some of this stuff up. And I will come back with the results. So I've done quite a bit of additional crafting. I made 4 more of the 4K storage drives and got most of them filled up even. But made a bunch of these storage buses so that I could have all of these various items into the system without having to take extra drive space. Smelted down almost all of the ore dust that I had, and all of this is now available through my ME system. And got just a simple ender generator here. It's recharging this redstone energy cell at the moment. If you are going to set up a system like this, you want to make sure though that you keep some of your fuel off to the side, not all of it in the ME system, because if this ME system loses power, and say I'm powering off of Ender Pearls and all of them are in the system, now I can't even repower the system. But I've got most everything moved over here. I've been making upgrades for my barrels so that I can have all of this stuff together in one barrel. Makes for a much more compact storage, and the crafting is so much simpler with that ME system now. Now, the next thing is that I'll have to start filling in all of the stuff up here. I want to get all of my pneumatic craft automation stuff over here. I'd like to get the pressure chamber and the smeltery and high oven over there as well. And I'll tell you, this area just looks so weird having nothing in it. So I'm going to have to go ahead and rip all of the ship out and make it the actual tunnel the way that it's supposed to be. So that's going to be something to work on. But, yeah. We are out of time for today. So, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you next time. Bye.